Shoot. Right behind the front shoulder if you want to get it. Dropped it dead as a freaking hammer. Holy crap, dude. You just shot your first freaking deer. That's amazing. Alright, so what do we do now?
What's going on, everyone? As you just saw from the opening clip, I actually dropped my first ever deer this weekend. And I wanted to make this video to tell you guys how it went. So let me tell you how it started with me deciding that I actually wanted to go try to get my first deer. Me and my wife are both on a diet right now. We're eating very lean hamburger meat a lot of the time. And as you guys know, that can get pretty expensive. Some of the lean hamburger meat that I like at the grocery store can be around $10 a pound, which when you're going through several pounds a week can get very pricey. My buddy Steven actually got his first deer several weeks ago, and he was telling me about how he's getting it processed and how much meat he was gonna get out of it. And I was like, holy crap. I need to go do that as well. So I talked to my buddy Ryan. He's an avid hunter. He hunts all the time. Me and him are very close. And I was telling him about some land that my family had, and he said that he'd like to hunt it. I told him that I would actually like to get my first deer so that literally just for the meat, not for sport, anything like that. I wanted to put meat in the freezer. And he was like, let's go, let's go. I'll take you out. I'll show you what to do. And I bet we can get you a deer. So my mom's side of the family is actually from Walker County, Alabama, and my grandparents had this awesome house out on about 160, 170 acres in Walker County. And I remember growing up just going out, walking in the woods, seeing deer all the time. My grandfather adored this land. He passed away several months ago. So for me, it was kind of icing on the cake, if you will, to go out and hunt his land and be able to harvest a deer off his land to feed my family, especially with his recent passing. So my mom decided to watch my daughter. Ryan picked me up at the house. We loaded up. We drove out to Walker County. We had a good time driving out there, talking about things. I know absolutely nothing about hunting. So I'm picking his brain jokingly, but at the same time, like in a serious manner, because I've never shot a deer before. I've never shot an animal of any kind before. So a little bit nervous, didn't really know what to expect. He kind of talked me through how it would go, and we tripped on out there. So because Ryan goes hunting all the time, he actually looked at the land that we were going to be going to on the map, and he looked at the topography, if I'm saying that correct, and he was trying to find an area to where we could hunt it and have the greatest chance for success. So we drove out a little ways onto the land, and then we actually walked the rest of it on foot. As we were pulling up to where we wanted to stop, there were 3 doe standing right there in the road that was cut through the property, and of course they took off through the woods.
I've already run this stuff.
There's freaking 3 right there. Holy crap.
To go down. That's fine. They'll come back.
So we got out, walked on foot, and just kind of scoped out the area that he thought would be a good spot for us to set up shop. We carried the chairs, we carried the blind with us. We got out there. He kind of found the spot that he was originally thinking. After looking at it in person, he was like, yeah, let's set up here. I think we've got a good shot here. And so we set up the blind and we set up the chairs and just kind of got everything ready. And as he was scoping it out and seeing the way the wind was pushing, we had essentially 3 lanes, right, left, and then straight ahead that we were going to be watching. And he told us that straight ahead lane was what he was thinking was going to be our best shot. And you'll see later that he ends up being right on that. So after we got everything set up, we actually got back in the truck, went to the store, got some snacks, and went back to the house, made sure we had all our cold gear on so that we could go get in the blind and try to survive the weather, because it was about 32 degrees all day when we were out here. And it was actually had snow flurries while we were sitting there waiting for a deer to hopefully come out. So we got into the blind around 1 o'clock, got comfortable, and talked just a little bit about kind of the area we were watching and what to do if we did see a deer come out.
All right, so we just got set up in the blind. We kind of have 3 good lanes. One's across a creek, one's kind of going back uphill, and one has a little field. And then we actually have a ridge behind us.
Deer comes that way. Like, make sure you have the stick is the right height for you. Only important thing about this is make sure at least your muzzle is getting out of the blind, or it clears the blind. You don't want to shoot the blind. So we might have to open it a little bit more if a deer comes, but just let me handle it and I can open it. That way you're going to have to get creative shooting through like some little sticks and stuff, but that way it should be fine. You should just be able to it might even benefit you to, like, if a deer comes out, get on your knees and then let me like adjust the height on the shooting stick to where you get it good. And just make sure the muzzle's outside the blind, or at least it clears the blind.
So we saw two. It could have been the same one twice. We actually saw two while walking in, or Ryan did. Or Ryan claims he did. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. If we see something, I'll turn this back on, or try to.
So probably within about 30 minutes of sitting there, we actually could hear deer out in the distance. We just didn't know how far they were or exactly what direction they were in. So Ryan decided to make some calls, I guess, out to them. I don't know how that works, but he does, and that's what he decided to do.
But if you do the come here deer thing, I'll kill you.
Come here, dear. We got corn over here.
I could have done that after eating Mexican for lunch.
So we would kind of hear these deer in the distance for several hours, and about 2.5, maybe 3 hours into sitting, a deer finally walked out. And this is how it went.
All right, you gonna shoot it? Do you think I should? It's totally up to you. Do you think I should wait a second? I mean, it's me if you want to shoot it. Be still. Ah, shit. Give it a second. Don't move. Don't move. Wait till it puts his head back down and just get your gun up. And just be prepared to shoot. It's looking right at us. Can you get it on the scope? Drop it down a little bit. Don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move any. Yep, it's about to run off. I got it. You got it on the gun? Yeah. What do you think? It's totally up to you. Right behind that shoulder, the front shoulder, up in its body. Wait for it to turn broadside. Wait. Don't move. Shoot. Right behind the front shoulder if you want to get it. Dropped it dead as a freaking hammer. Dead as a hammer. Rack another round, rack another round, rack another round. Okay, stand by. Holy crap, dude. You just shot your first freaking deer. That's amazing. It'll die. Just give it a second.
Did you get it?
I jumped when you shot it.
Let's go.
I hope it's not a knothead. Either way, it's me, dude. That's cool. That'll feed you for a little while. Oh, that's way zoomed in. What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know.
Dude, you did good. You dropped it.
I'm so glad we don't have to track that thing.
Oh no, it's awesome, dude.
Alright, so what do we do now?
Just sit here.
Until what?
We'll just sit here and wait. We can do whatever you want to do. We can continue to hunt it and see if something else comes out.
Do we just leave the deer there while we continue?
Yeah. I've shot a doe before. I had a buck come and check on the doe on the ground. Dude, you shot a freaking deer. That's awesome. I saw it. You saw me looking at it, and then it just freaking picked its head around the corner.
So I was pumped. I really didn't know what to do. It was an adrenaline dump. I didn't know what to do next, and we decided we were going to give it a minute and actually just wait and see, since we had shot what we thought at the time was a doe, if a buck came out shortly after it. And sure enough, within about 15 or 20 minutes, we had a spike walk out. Now with this one, we could actually tell that it was a spike, so we made the decision to just watch it and not actually shoot it, and we were going to wait to see if a big buck came out. After about 30 minutes of watching it and deciding that it might be a while for a bigger buck to come out, we made the judgment call that since I was videoing this whole thing and since everything had went so well, we were going to go ahead and try to get the deer out while we still had some daylight to do so. So we went to check out the deer and retrieve it. Dang. It was a spike. Yes, a spike. First one though, yeah. That's crazy. We made the decision to leave it there and leave our equipment there and actually see how close we could get Ryan's truck to the deer. But at our main creek crossing, the dirt and essentially mud was so soft, we were worried, even with his truck being four-wheel drive, that we might get stuck. So after we started to try it, we backed out, found a spot that was basically as close as we could get, and we decided to drag it from there. I think the walk was probably around a quarter of a mile from where the deer was laying to actually get it back to the truck. And then Ryan informed me that it's customary for me to drag the deer out myself. I don't know if that's a rule or not, but he told me it was, and so that's what happened. About halfway through the deer drag, I realized, like, thank God this deer isn't any bigger. And next time, we're definitely gonna bring a side-by-side or a four-wheeler to make that job a lot easier. So we loaded up my deer. Ryan did the customary putting blood on my face and whatnot. And then we found a local processor and went and dropped it off. All right, so we just dropped my first deer off at the processor. We're now on the interstate heading back. I am super pumped because I feel like it went really well as far as seeing something and actually getting to take a shot and then it dropping like it did. So I'm pumped. Now I kind of want to do it again, which is what I was afraid would happen. So we'll see. Ryan, final thoughts?
I'm just glad that I actually put us in a spot where I thought there might be deer coming through, and then it actually played out. Otherwise, I'd have felt bad. But then I would just play it off as in, well, you know, sometimes it's one of those days you don't see no deer. But luckily, we got in a spot where I thought there might be some deer moving through just based off the layout of the land, and sure enough, you know, we saw deer, and then we were lucky enough to get James's first deer. So it was a very, very successful hunt for James. The very first time ever being in the woods, you know, actually trying to kill a deer or shoot a deer, and he gets to shoot one and it works out well. Great shot. I think the first time I went hunting, I didn't see anything but like a squirrel, and I don't know, it probably took me several times to go before I ever shot my first deer. So it was really cool to see. It was more gratifying on my end to actually experience it, so it was a good time.
So I am super excited and super pumped with how well things went, in my opinion. I didn't expect on my very first time attempting to hunt to get a deer, and also it's really surreal to almost like a tribute, go out and harvest a deer off of my grandfather's land. It's just a super cool feeling that I'll always, you know, a memory, I guess, if you will, that I'll always have. And so that's really awesome. If you've watched the video all the way through this far and you enjoyed it, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you hanging out. What I'm actually going to do, this channel is not about hunting by any means. It's actually about making videos and making YouTube content and content creation. So what I'm going to do, I decided I would put this video on the channel, and then here in the next week or two, I'm actually going to talk about and dissect how I made this video. So if you're a hunter or you're an outdoorsman and you want to learn how to make these kind of videos for yourself and for memories to have for forever, or even to start your own YouTube channel, you can watch my video on how I made it. The equipment that I used is actually relatively cheap, and you'll find out how easy it is to just go out and record and put this kind of video together. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.